shake up a martini, pull up a chair, and let's go thrifting. This is Mid-Century Wasted. Hello everyone, welcome back to Mid-Century Wasted. I'm Jamie. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is part 2 of a haul video from a shopping trip all the way back in 2019. Last summer, I've had all this stuff squirreled away, just waiting to be hauled. And now I can finally get through it and list this stuff on eBay and get it out of my house, hopefully. So this was a marathon day of estate sale shopping. I went to 4 estate sales in one day. If you missed the shopping videos or the previous haul video, all of it's going to be linked down below. I'm probably linking one right up here right now. Go find it. If you don't care, just stay here and watch this video. That's fine too. And if you don't like vintage fabric, this is not the video for you. Or maybe it is. Don't leave. Don't leave. Stay. I'm just kidding. It's still going to be entertaining. But we have a lot of vintage fabric to look at. This haul is going to be about 2 houses, the second 2 houses I went to on that day that were in Garden Grove, California. The first Garden Grove house I went to had some cool stuff, but the prices, I didn't get much at that house. Before I forget, I'm going to say that I did get a Halloween lawn bag. It was in the box. I showed you that all the way last year in my Halloween video. So I got that at this house. So now you're finally seeing the rest of the stuff. Took me long enough. Anyway, the other stuff that I got there, it was all right here. This is it. This is the rest of the stuff that I got at that house. So we're gonna start with the world famous Coconut Grove, the Ambassador Hotel, Los Angeles, California. Look at those graphics. Mid-century goodness just oozing all over this. And it's a souvenir photo. The person who owned this house, I believe, worked in aerospace. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, it seems like. A lot of the people in this area worked for Boeing or McDonnell Douglas or whatever it was called before that. I mean, that was the big business in the area that warranted building all of these houses, these tracks around here, including Garden Grove, Huntington Beach, this whole area. A lot of people worked in the aerospace industry. So this was some kind of banquet party at Coconut Grove, and all these people signed it. It says to Mayor something, Howard or Horwalt. I don't know. But the picture inside, if you look closely at it, the clothing that they're wearing, I mean, it's pretty excellent as far as vintage photos go. But I mean, the real goodness is this right here. I do love that. This might possibly be the best vintage photo I've ever found. There's a good chance. I mean, at least as far as my taste, as far as just having a random photo of strangers in your home, this takes the cake. I mean, are you even ready for this? Just prepare yourself. Oh my God. So to me, it looks like a prom photo. Look at the umbrella. Look at the space age Sputnik looking patio furniture. Look at the backdrop with like the crepe paper hanging up top, and her dress. Look at that dang dress. I think it's red. I see that as red. And there's his white tux. This is the best photo ever. I truly have no idea what I will ever use this for, but I'm very happy that I have it. See, does it have names on the back? My God, this is from Roswell, New Mexico. They're aliens. Next, when I find military photos places, I do tend to pick them up. I am not super knowledgeable in what branch of the military it is, or look at the patches and insignia and be able to decipher things. My husband is very good at that, so I'll probably show him this picture. But this looks like a mess hall. They're all eating, and it looks like not a great place, and it doesn't look like a very permanent structure. So I gotta think that this is like overseas somewhere having to do with some kind of war. I can't be sure, but I have this dream, might as well talk about it now since I got you here, of starting a second channel. And I have been saying that I'm gonna start a second channel for roughly 400 years now. The channel is called Lost Photos Found, and I already have it set up. I have an email address. I have the Instagram account. I have everything. It's ready for me to start filming. The problem is I don't have a ton of time, but I know that my time is going to free up by this time next year when both of my kids are going to be going to school. My oldest will be in kindergarten, my youngest will be starting preschool, and I will start to actually have at least 3 days a week of some time to get stuff done. So sometime between now and next year, I hope to actually start posting videos on Lost Photos Found. The idea is finding photos like this and being able to do enough research via genealogy, ancestry.com. I'm obsessed with, I'm on it all the time for my own family tree. And I have actually investigated some photos that I have found before. If they have names, dates, places, sometimes there's enough information written on the backs of photos that you can actually piece together a stranger's family tree. I know that sounds strange. Sounds a little maybe creepy to some people. Some people might find it invasive, but the thought, the dream is to find a picture like this. Say we knew the name of one person that was in this picture. You can look up the records, the army records or whatever this is, and then find the names of the other people that were in the same group, whatever it's called, battalion, regiment. I don't know military names and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm stupid about that. But you could potentially scan this in, post it on Ancestry, and tag it with that company or whatnot. And the dream to me is to actually have somebody identify someone else in the background and be like, that was my great uncle Bob who was serving in World War II or whatever this is. Because I have myself have found pictures that other people have posted on Ancestry of my own family members in my family tree, and I cannot tell you how much joy it brings me when I find a random photo of a distant relative even, or a family member that I knew that I have never seen before. I've never seen that photo before because somebody else had it. And going to estate sales, you come across photos a lot, more often than you would think. See, here's another one. Here's another military photo. It could be that the person who owned the home didn't have kids, didn't have relatives, and these photos would just completely go to waste. They would probably get thrown in the trash. They may not have any living relatives who care about this photo anymore, but there might be other people in the photos, friends, other family members, just random military coworkers, and those family members might be excited about seeing these photos. So theoretically, that's my plan for my other channel. And it is something where it's like, I'll be here at Mid-Century Wasted, go do my thrifting, go to the estate sale, and show you, hey look, here's some very interesting photos that I found. Here's Gail Doherty, Rosemary Kohler, and Diane Colburn, all from San Pedro. This is some sort of like sorority or something. I don't know what it is. It's 3 completely different names. I don't know, like what is this? Bridesmaids, maybe? It seems more like sorority sisters or something, because I don't know, they all seem very young, but people got married young back then too, so I don't really know. But what if her family members have never seen this photo? And what if they're on Ancestry.com? So it'd be one of those things where I'm like, hey look, here's my haul video. Here's some photos that I found. My next episode of Lost Photos Found, I'm gonna be doing research on these photos. And the reason why I don't wanna do it on this channel is because I find photos from every single era. It's not always mid-century photos that I pick up. I will pick up an entire box of photos if they're cheap enough at an estate sale or something. So I do kind of want to keep it separate. And the people who are into vintage and antiques and thrifting aren't necessarily the same people who would be interested in genealogical research of strangers' photos, trying to solve these mysteries and get photos back to the living family members. I hope that there's a lot of crossover and that people will be just like me and be interested in both of those topics, but I know that that's not necessarily for everyone. So it's something where it's like, I'm gonna tease these photos over here on Mid-Century Wasted, and it also doesn't eat up a ton of time like I'm doing right now, just talking to you about vintage photos. So this one is like really cool, and really effing scary if you're someone like me who is afraid of flying and absolutely creeped out to the nth degree of airplanes. Totally creeped out by airplanes. And so this one, like launching up into the stratosphere like a rocket, not my favorite thing. But I picked it up knowing that my husband would think this is cool and he would be able to research this airplane and learn all the different kinds of information about it, because I happen to marry someone who is fascinated with flying. He said if he could do it all over again, he would have become an airline pilot. Literally my worst nightmare. I am the person who is crying on the plane for no reason, just because I'm that scared. Like openly weeping. If there's one little bump, we are dying in my mind and I am hysterical. Thank God for medication. I hate everything about this. The MD-87 McDonnell Douglas. Okay, I should have just looked at that when I was talking about how everybody worked at Boeing or McDonnell Douglas. So some sort of McDonnell Douglas plane. And then this guy, I mean, I think this guy's pretty handsome, to be honest with you. Gotta love a guy in a uniform, right? I don't know what's going on here, but I like it. As much as I dislike that airplane picture, that's how much I like this picture. Sorry, Blake, if you're watching. I don't think this is military. This is patrol. Like maybe California Highway Patrol, or there's a bear on his shoulder too, which is also a California state flag kind of symbol. So I don't know what this is. I don't know who this is. There's no name on the back, but he's handsome. He kind of reminds me, honestly, he kind of reminds me of my husband. If you ever saw a picture of my husband before he had his giant beard and before he lost his hair, there's some resemblance here. Very burly, manly man. That's all I got at that house. That's it. I was able to eat up like 10, 15 minutes of just rambling anyway, just because I'm talkity. The last house of the day, arguably the best house of the day. I don't know, it's hard to say. The first house in Huntington Beach from the last haul video, I got some really cool stuff there too. Jadeite and Taylor Smith Taylor. Got a lot of mid-century like china and stuff at that last one, but I should have bought more things at this sale. Again, watching the shopping video, I was kicking myself. I was in a different mindset back then. I was still new to reselling. I was new to this whole thing. I was new to this channel. I admired a lot of the stuff, looked it over, and then put it back. And I was like, why didn't I buy that? Like the rotary dial phone book, the little metal gold. I should have bought that. Like, why not? Why wouldn't I buy that? It was awesome. I would have gone through all of those postcards if I could do it all over again. I had like a sense of urgency where I needed to see everything in the house, so I wasn't taking my time anywhere. I should have. Yet I slowed down my pace to go through big piles of fabric. Why? The funniest part about that was when I was checking out and this guy's ringing up all of these fabric remnants. And then he goes, oh, you got a lot of fabric. Do you sew? And I was it was crickets. Like, I didn't know what to say. And I like clammed up and froze and I didn't say anything. Like a freaking weirdo. He's like, oh, do you sew? And I was just like, and that's all I did. And then it was one of those things like where you do something and you know that you're being weird and then you get to the car and you're like, what the hell is wrong with me? It was one of those situations where I was like, why didn't I just say like, no, I'm a reseller. I don't actually know how to sew. I've never sewn anything in my entire life. I would use hot glue before I would use needle and thread. No, I didn't say any of that. I just laughed like a lunatic. I should have just been like, no hablo inglés. Here's my cash. Sometimes I'm very awkward and I'm very strange. And I own it. All right, so at this house, you didn't see me find this, but I found it. And I totally forgot about this too. I thought this whole box was filled with fabric and this was on top. And I was like, hot damn, that's a vintage laundry bag. And I totally forgot. And I actually need a new laundry bag right now. We use bags for our laundry in this house. And this is a nice big one. And I'm super excited about it. So this is going in my bedroom. I'm gonna wash it because it's been in a box. It doesn't seem overly dirty or anything, but it needs to be washed. It's got the nice drawstring right here. It works. And I love it. Look at that vintage fabric. The green parts are almost like lily pads. I mean, almost. They're not quite, but It's got kind of a tropical vibe to me, and we've got a tropical thing going in our bedroom right now, and it's perfect. Next, this is the last thing until the fabric. Bless this food. Luncheon napkin assortment. I mostly got this for the graphics on the box. They've got this little poem on it. It's a little kitchen prayer is essentially what it is. All the napkins are in here. Oh, there actually are different ones. I didn't realize that. So there's a few of these. And then this one is about the flour mill. And it's got a mill. That's kind of cute. I think there's only 3. So this one has some little kids saying grace, essentially. Those are very cute too. I really like the little like wreath, the little garland around the edges of that one and the cute little kid drawings. So hey, those are even better than I thought. I haven't looked up the value of these. I paid $2 for this box. It was funny, all of this stuff at the second house came to $50 even. And oh, where's the magazines? Oh, I almost forgot the magazines. Hold please. How could I forget those? All right, well, I found one of the magazines. The other one, I've literally had it on display for a year, and I just took it down to switch some stuff out, and I don't remember where I put it. Of course, but like I was saying, all of this together was $50. All the fabric were $2 each. So that includes this. They counted just this bag as fabric. So yeah, let me show this real quick before we get into the fabric. It's a vintage Sunset magazine, and I'm in love. So this is from May 1966. This is weighty. I mean, can you see how thick this magazine is? I'll just show a few pages out of it. All of these old magazines, the things that get me the most are the advertisements. Okay, remember 1966. Look at that. Too cool. The lady loves beauty. The lady loves downs, quality carpets for rare value too. Ooh, look at this kitchen. I feel like, is that a Pyrex in the background? It might be. If there's a vintage Pyrex ad in here, 1966, I have yet to find a Pyrex ad in any of my vintage magazines, but it's gonna happen. I just haven't flipped through every page yet. Mayonnaise and aspic, my favorite. Oh, it's so classic. Wow, look, cassette tape. Ooh, fancy. Fancy for 1966. I didn't know that cassette tapes were around that early, to be honest with you. I am not normally one to cut things out of a vintage magazine unless it's damaged. If the magazine is damaged, you know, if it's falling apart, I have no qualms with it at all, of course. But a good quality vintage magazine, oh my God, look at this one. I won't cut the pictures out of it or the ads out of it and sell them. I would rather, if I'm gonna sell a magazine, I would rather sell it whole. I like vintage magazines as birthday presents for people. I bought my grandma a magazine, I think it was Good Housekeeping, from September 1925, and that's when she was born. I think it's fun to buy the month and the year somebody was born and give it to them. This kitchen is amazing, and I want it. Look at the fireplace. Holy cow. Yes, please. That's the fun thing about Sunset Magazine, the magazine of Western living, is it's about like home interiors, essentially. I get to see all these really cool mid-century modern houses. And look, there's even floor plans in there too. If I ever will build my own house someday. Unlikely. Oh my God. I just got done saying I wouldn't take an advertisement out of a magazine, but you guys, this isn't an advertisement for Airstream, but there's an Airstream in it. It's an advertisement for the car, but there's an Airstream in it. Ah! Look at that. International Harvester Company? What? The Travelall by International. That is literally a car company I've never heard of before. But they're advertising that they can tow an Airstream, tows a load as big as a house, carries everybody in the house. My God. Well, I just want a good old sturdy station wagon and an Airstream now. Dang it. I just said I wasn't going to tear an ad out of this, and I'm very tempted to tear that one out and frame it. But I'm glad to know that it's in there. Oh, look at this. I didn't notice this. Something's already been cut out of it. So now I don't have to feel bad about cutting something out of this one. All right, cool. So I can cut the Airstream ad right out of there and not feel bad one bit, because there's already some missing pages that I didn't know about. Now I hope there is a Pyrex ad in here. I'm gonna have to look through it a little bit more carefully later on. All right, who's ready for some vintage fabric? I'm just gonna go through them quick. They're remnants. I don't know how much is on each one. Some pieces are thick, some are thin. Some have the original tags. I'll show you this one real quick. Just like a total flower power, pink and brown, kind of like maybe a polyester or something like that. I'm very dense about that. This is kind of a shiny, synthetic feeling fabric. It's not silk, but it has a sheen to it, and it's kind of silky. Yeah, so I started noticing them that have tags on it, and so I started kind of gravitating towards those. But I was definitely buying things based on the print. So this one was from Bullock's in Santa Ana. You can see the tag is still on this one. It is 1 yard, 45 inches wide. So that's helpful for reselling. This is almost like, not almost like, it is an embroidered fabric. There's full on embroidery on this fabric. It couldn't have been cheap originally. I don't know if there was a price on here. Maybe $2 a yard. I don't know. So this one still has the tag. This is from JCPenney. 2.5 yards, 45 inches wide, $3.39 originally. And this is like upside down for one thing, like little sprite garden nymph fairy like wild children and animals. I just thought it was cute. Again, I don't know what kind of fabric this is. Feels more like a cotton. This one, this remnant, is not returnable. Doesn't say where it's from, but it's 1 yard, 28 inches, $2.31, originally $3.47 a yard. And I just thought this was a really nice, kind of heavy duty plaid. This is a very like thick, sturdy feeling fabric. Again, I have no clue what kind of fabric this is. I feel like I need to just like go to a fabric store and ask them to show me different examples of different types of fabric, so I can at least like feel it and try to get a sense of what is what, because I literally have no idea what kind of fabric is what. I know bark cloth because I've seen it at antique stores labeled bark cloth, so I know that one. But other than that, I'm kind of lost. I can be like, this is scratchy and this is silky. That's about it. This did not have a tag, but I just thought that was kind of a wild, fun print. I was definitely gravitating towards like the more bold, wild, interesting looking prints, at least interesting to me. There's a lot of just plain colors too, solid colors, which like right now would be really useful because a lot of people are making, you know, masks with the fabric and stuff. And some people just prefer plain colors. Not I like wild, bright colored things with obnoxious prints all over it. Here's like a really beautiful tropical Hawaiian kind of blue print. It's looking a little purple on camera, but it's definitely like a navy blue or royal blue and turquoise. And I really like that one. I know sometimes in this white part on the edges, it has, oh yeah, an Ameritex print. So this does have at least a brand name where maybe I can look it up or something. I liked this one because it was red, white, and blue. And this is a sheer. This is, you can see my fingers through it. You know, this is like a sheer material. So that was kind of interesting to me. It's a little crinkly, a little crunchy. I'm just gonna stay standing because I keep sitting down and then I have to stand right back up to show you the fabric. Here's another one. This one also has a tag. It says Jonathan Logan Fabric Outlet, 3 yards, $2.44 a yard. There's the tag. And I like the font on that one. This one was interesting to me. It's like a fall kind of fruit, maybe. Like that looks like a pear right there. You can kind of see it a little bit better on the side. I don't know, fall fruits and berries. This one says Concord Fabrics Incorporated. I don't think there's a tag on this one, no. And this one I just thought was kind of like a sweet print. All right, so this one was JCPenney. This tag is kind of messed up and it's all like folded all wonky. So I'll unfold it a little bit. But it's like pinks and greens and a little bit of golds. I just thought that one was kind of pretty. Here's another JCPenney. Blue with a very graphic pattern on it. Here's another Jonathan Lang fabric outlet. And this one I thought was really pretty cool. It was a little bit more masculine too. But I thought this could also be like a really good plaid for Christmas time with the red and the gray. Here's another Hawaiian print. And I think these are fabulous. There's a JCPenney. I wish they had dates on them, but this is 2 1/4 yards. Really nice Hawaiian print. I really love that. I love the colors on that. All right, this one's gotta be polyester because this is like stretchy even. I feel like this is like leisure suit material, but look at those dang graphics. Talk about flower power. Oh my God, I love this one. And this one, I think had a brand on it. Let me look. Oh yeah, this one is Sofro Original. Sofro. Obviously I haven't looked any of these up yet because they've been in a box for a year. But isn't that neat? That one's just really cool. And this one might be my favorite. This is very silky. I don't know if it is silk. It kind of feels like silk. I'm just gonna open this one all the way up. It's not a ton of fabric, but look at that. I mean, it's like a whole scene. There's a sun and a rainbow and so many mushrooms and flowers and a river. I mean, this might be the best trippy 60s fabric you've ever seen. It reminds me of Beatles' Yellow Submarine. 1000%. That's what it reminds me of. Look at that. And this is of era too. You know, this is vintage. This had clearly been in that house for like a very long time. I don't know if this has a brand on it anywhere. I mean, you would think that it would because it's basically artwork. I don't see one, but I love it. Going back into the completely opposite vibe, here is just a very sweet floral, pretty flowers, primary colors. I think that's what made me drawn to this one. And this is also like a sheer kind of material. It's not super sheer. I don't even know what this would be. There's a word I'm trying to think of. This one was also from JCPenney. This one was from that Jonathan something outlet. This is kind of like almost like a chocolatey brown background. It looks kind of black on the camera. It's like chocolate brown and cream. It got a lot of florals. I'm just kind of drawn to these more like wild prints, I guess. Oh, and I thought this one was great for Christmas. This is a really nice vintage Christmas pattern. Look at the kind of the hand-drawn looking details of the holly. And I do lots of holly stuff at Christmas time, so I liked that one. This one was another JCPenney's, and it's like kind of a Western plain card suits fabric. It's blue and red, diamonds, hearts, clubs, and spades, whatever word I'm looking for. And this is like a polyester feeling kind of fabric too. There are 2 of these. This was one of the first ones I found where I was like, oh, there's some cool fabric in here. This one is Crompton Richmond Company. Subway cars, subway signs. That's what it looks like anyway. It's kind of upside down for the subway cars, but like these look like subway cars or train cars, and then these are all like the abbreviations for the signs. Park Avenue, let's see, 1st Street, Times Square, Park Avenue, 8th Street, Broadway, Madison. I thought this was so cool. And then lastly was this one. Oh, this actually says 65% polyester, 35% cotton. So this is a poly cotton blend. I will feel this over and over again and try to memorize the texture so that I know from now on. And I just thought this was kind of a fun print. Look at this one right here. It's like little birds. Can you see that? But from a distance, you can't tell that they're really birds. It looks like just sticks and blobs, but they're little tiny birds. And so that's kind of what sold me on that one. Whew. That was a lot of fabric. This is In Trend is the name of this one. So, do people buy vintage fabric? I mean, I really hope so, because I got just about $50 worth of it. Or not $50 worth of it. I spent $50 on it. I can't imagine, I mean, each one of these has to go for a decent amount of money. I mean, how much does fabric cost nowadays? I'm sure it's more than $2 for an entire yard of fabric. So even taking the vintage out of it, I think this fabric is worth something. I personally love the prints that I picked out. Hopefully other people will too, especially like this one and this insane yellow submarine looking one. But again, I literally have no use for fabric. Every single one of these is gonna be for sale. I might put the fabric on Etsy instead of eBay. I do still have an Etsy store. I have been like blowing out all the merchandise on there because Etsy has made changes that are not inclusive to vintage resellers. They might be changes that work really well for people who sell crafts and handmade things on Etsy. I've mostly phased myself out of Etsy, but certain things like fabric and crafting supplies, I think still make sense to sell there, because I think that's where people are going to look for things like this. So to sell fabric or beads or sewing threads and crafting kits and things like that, I'll still be listing those on Etsy. So look for fabric on Etsy. That's where I'm going to be selling this stuff. Probably not eBay. Unless I think maybe something like this, I want to set it at an auction. You know, it depends on what I can find the value of some of this stuff being, because I don't know the value of these things. No idea. So I got to do a lot of research. I just got a lot of work to do. So I'm going to end this video. Check out my eBay stores. Check out my Etsy store. I am a vintage reseller. Stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.